Hello, hello, and welcome back to the North. One of our fellow fish keepers had a tragedy, and this, seems blow on aquariums for various reasons. A lot of times they get too old, but this tank really wasn't that old. It's fairly new, the grand scheme of things. I mean, my tanks are pushing 25 years old, probably around now. My discus tank, the one we're looking at, could happen to me too, right? But I'm very gentle with my silicone because I know this tank's old. And what happened was he had a dirted tank, as they're called. There's different terms, and sometimes they use the wrong one, and I'm still catching up, so forgive me. But dirted tank, which was the mud variety. So a thick layer of mud and a very thick layer of sand and gravels on top. I think it was mud, gravels, and sand, or vice versa. I'm not sure. It was pretty mixed up in the video. But it was a planted tank with lots of dirt and a very, very thick substrate. Like the 6-inch, 7-inch substrates that are out there. It was along that line. I don't know exactly how tall it was. It was pretty tall. And that mud's all very heavy. And water's heavy too. Don't get me wrong, but water distributes its weight differently because it's a fluid. And when you're putting in big lumps of mud, you're creating weight. The weight's not distributed easily on that sheet of glass on the bottom of your tank, right? It's the same thing as piling up a whole bunch of rocks, real rocks from, like actual stones, not the fake light ones. I use the fake light ones downstairs, if you're wondering. It looks like I got rocks piled in a tank, but that's all just really lightweight plastic decor. And it just looks really good, like a rock. So I always keep light stuff in my tank because also if a rock fell over and hit your glass, it would shatter your tank, right? So it's another way for a tank to fail. You always got to worry about that stuff. But anyway, so the thick, muddy substrate actually weighs probably more than the water because it's also filled with water. So it's kind of like the weight of water plus the weight of the mud. And the overall weight of the tank and the pressures and the forces pushing down on the glass when, say, you have a 150 gallon to 200 gallon tank. This guy had a big tank. I forget the exact measurements, but it was definitely at least a 120. I think it was a 150. Very long tank. It was a long one too. And that was 6 foot easy. And so with all that weight in the bottom glass, I don't know. I got to go back and look, but I'm guessing he had some kind of rocky terrain thing in the middle, because we all do that. Like even me, if you look at my discus tank, you're going to see I got build up in the middle there. And but it's again all just fake, empty, hollow stuff, right? So it doesn't weigh a lot. We got one big rock in there, and that's pushing it. That's a real rock. I should take it out after watching that. I think I'm going to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to take that big rock out just to relieve some pressure because it's uneven. I'm doing that. I'm learning something from this experience. But to move on from basically the silicone popped front, it looked like in the front and the back, right in the middle. So they both just kind of let go at the same time. I don't know how long the dirty tank was set up. I'm guessing a couple of years, just a glance. And that makes sense. So you got to calculate, like silicone will hold up against that kind of pressure for a good long time. But it's going to fail eventually. It's going to pop like it just did with this gentleman. Nice guy. Love his channel, by the way. But he drank the Kool-Aid, unfortunately. Just another victim in a way. And imagine if you were, say, somebody with a Jim Jones sort of mindset, and hypothetically speaking, of course, if such a person got let's pretend such a person got a kick out of teaching people to kill their fish, just for example. Like, God knows that doesn't happen in the real world, but hey, let's just say such a person exists. Would it be a stretch for such a person who's very knowledgeable in the field to know that if you overload a tank with weight like that, eventually the seams are going to pop? And then, with your vast, aged knowledge, you know the silicone's probably going to hold up for 2 or 3 years. So in that 2 or 3 years, all the people that you made put 6 inches of mud and then capped it over with sand and then capped it over with gravel and whatever they do. In the back of your mind, you got tens of thousands of people out there with seams that are just waiting to blow. And the funny part for someone like that would be, a lot of them are going to start popping at around the same time, because silicone. So you set up all the same conditions, and then you wait, and then the videos will start coming out. Exploding tanks all over the internet. God, if someone got a kick out of killing fish, imagine what kind of kick they'd get out of mass exploding tanks and all the damage caused by that. But I'd hate to think there's actually a real person like that out there. It just can't be possible. It can't be. Can't be. All hypothetical, of course. Right? Incredible stuff. Ciao for now.